This is lesson 5-4A from the Algebra Readiness textbook. Pull out your notes packet and work the study guide problem shown. When you're done, continue the video. The first problem is asking me to solve for my variable x. In order to solve for my variable, I need to undo anything happening to x. In this case, x is subtracting 5/8. So I am going to do the inverse, which is to add 5/8 to both sides. This crosses out and equals 0. X is all that's remaining on the left. On the right, I see that I have 1/2 plus 5/8. And I learned that in order to add fractions, I need to have a common denominator. In this case, my common denominator is 8. So I will rename 1/2 as 4/8 plus 5/8, and I get 9/8. And I know that 9/8 is improper. So how many groups of 8 go into 9? 1. And 1/8 is remaining. So 1 and 1/8. Okay, the next problem. Q plus 3/4 equals 4 and 4/11. To solve this problem, I need to subtract 3/4 from both sides of the equation. Q is all that's remaining on the left. On the right, I need to rewrite these fractions with a common denominator. In this case, the common denominator is 44. 4 and 16/44 minus 33/44. Now, these are the ones kids hate. And the reason you hate them is because you can't take 16 minus 33. 16 is too small, and it requires you to borrow one whole. I'm going to call the one whole 44 over 44, because that's equal to 1, isn't it? But it has a common denominator with 16/44. So 16 plus 44 is a nice round 60/44. So all of this added together equals 60/44. 60 minus 33, now I can do that. And I get 27/44. And then 3 minus 0 is 3. My answer is 3 and 27/44. Make sure you're able to do each of these problems because each of these problems is coming up on your upcoming assessment. The last one, Jason started a job that he had 207 3/8 pounds of nails. When he finished, he had 149 3/4 pounds of nails. How many pounds of nails did he use on his job? So when he started, 149 3/4 plus how many nails equals the number of nails he started with. N is the number of nails he used. I could subtract 149 3/4 from both sides of the equal sign. Then, as in all problems, I have to come up with a common denominator. It doesn't matter that the numbers are big, the rules stay the same. So 207 3/8, and then the common denominator is 8. So 149 6/8. Now this is one of those gross borrowing ones because 3 minus 6 you can't do. So I'm going to borrow one whole. So I'm going to take that one whole and call it 8/8 and add that together. 3/8 plus 8/8 is 11/8. So I kind of don't need this after I did that. 11 minus 6 is 5/8. 6 minus 9, I can't do that, can I? I have to borrow. So I get 1, this becomes a 10, then I borrow, I get a 9. 16 minus 9 is 7. 9 minus 4 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. My answer is 57 5/8 pounds of nails. were used for that project. All right, we're ready to go. Today's learning target is to multiply fractions. So, to multiply fractions, we have 3 steps. I would like you to write these down. The first step is to rewrite your mixed numbers as improper fractions. The second step is to simplify the fractions. And the third step is to multiply across. Let's do this first example in your notes together. Rewriting these as improper fractions, I start off by renaming 1 3/4 by 4 times 1 plus 3. And I get 7/4. So just as a reminder, if you have an improper fraction, you take your denominator of 4, multiply it by the whole number, and then add 3, 7, and then you keep the denominator of 4, 7/4. Let's try it again. 2 and 5/6. I have 6 things in a whole group. I have 2 whole groups. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus, I have 5 in the last little group. So 12 plus 5 is 17/6. When I multiply this, I would simplify the fractions if I can. In this case, I cannot. And so now I take 7 times 17. Feel free to do a side problem. And you get 119 over 24. Now, 119 over 24 is an improper fraction. So it goes in, let's say, 4 times. Four times 24 is 96. So 119 minus 96. And I get 23/24. Now, of course, you can't see my side problem, but we'll do a few more problems together here. To multiply fractions, first, you multiply their numerators and multiply their denominators. Then write the result in simplest form. So 3/7 times 4/5. Multiply the numerators. 3 times 4 is 12. Multiply the denominators. 7 times 5 is 35. Simplify if you can, and you can't. So multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then simplest form. Pause the video and try these problems. Make sure that you're applying rules for multiplying positive and negative numbers. If you have a negative times a positive, you should get a negative answer. If you get a negative times a negative, you get a positive answer. Now pause the video and give it a try. For the first one, 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. My answer is 2/15. Letter B, 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 3 is 18. Negative times a positive is a negative. I see that I can reduce this because it has a common factor of 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Negative 5/9. Letter C. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 9 is 72. And so then, let's see. So my common factor there, I don't have any common factors. That's my answer. Letter D. A negative times a negative, I know to be a positive answer. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 30-seconds. And I can't simplify that any further. When a numerator and a denominator have common factors, you can simplify before multiplying. And the reason that's nice is because then you're simplifying with smaller numbers. Let me show you. Some of you might even remember this from 6th grade. 9/15 times negative 5/9. Do you see that 9 and 9 have a common factor of 9? 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 9 divided by 9 is 1. Then the 5 and the 15 have a common factor of 5. So negative 5 divided by divided by 5 is negative 1. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Do you see how that was so much faster than if I were to multiply 9 times 5 and 15 times 9 and then simplify? All right, what if there's a variable? It's okay if there's a variable. Don't be nervous. The first thing that you're going to do is simplify. Any numerator and any denominator combination can be simplified. In this case, 4 and 8 have a common factor of 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Then I take 2 times y and I get 2y. 1 times 11 and I get 11. There are no common factors after that, so leave it. 2y over 11. Now I want you to try some simplifying before you find the product. Try these 3. Simplify before you multiply if you can. On this first problem, you should have noticed that 3 and 6 have a common factor of 3. When I reduce it, I change the 6 to a 2 and the 3 to a 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. Letter B. 15 and 21 have a common factor of 3. And 5 and 25 have a common factor of 5. The negative sign you can add to the numerator or the denominator. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use it with the numerator. So negative 1 times 7 is negative 7, and 5 times 5 is 25. Your answer, if you simplified the problem before you multiply, your answer should always be in simplest form. The last one, 2 and 4 have a common factor of 2. And so I'm left with just one x here. 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3, and so I'm left with 1 and 3. Now multiply the numerator. 1 times x is the same as x. 3 times 2 is the same as 6. X over 6. If they are improper fractions, you need to convert them to a mixed, if they are a mixed number, your job is to convert them to improper first and then multiply. Let's do the first one together. As a reminder, you take your denominator 4 times 3 and add the numerator. And you get 15 fourths times 2 fifths. Then you reduce. And I get 3 over 2. Which I will rename as 1 1/2. Let's try the next one. 2/3 times, now 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9/7. Now I'm going to simplify my problem. 2 and 7 have no common factors. 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 7 is 7. Now you pause the video and try this one on your own. All right? 8 and 6 have a common factor of 2. Oops, I don't write a 2 there. And so 3/4. There are no other common factors, so I multiply across. 17 times 4, you could take 4 times 10 and then 4 times 7, and you get 40 plus 28, which would be 68. And then 3 times 5 is 15. And then make sure you remember this little negative right here. A negative times a positive is a negative. Now 68 is bigger than 15, so it's mixed number, or it's improper. We have to convert it to a mixed number. 15 goes into 68 4 times, because 4 times 15 is 60, and then I have 8/15 left. There we go. All right, last problem of the day. Central Park in New York City is a rectangle. It is approximately 2.5 miles long and 1/2 mile wide. What is the area of Central Park? Remember that the area of any side is, or of any rectangle, is length times width. So when I'm calculating this, I know that it is 2.5 miles long times 1/2 mile wide. So convert this to improper, and I get 5/2 times 1/2. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. That is an improper fraction. So I get 4 goes into 5 one time, and I have 1 unit left over. So I get 1 1/4 miles, and its area, so it's square miles, is the area of that Central Park. All right, your assignment is 5-